We'll get started in another 2 minutes. Before that, it would be great if you could introduce yourself and your business in the chat box below. Awesome. So let's get started. Among the speakers, we have Dave from Business Marketing, Marketing Manager, Facebook India. We have Nikhil Menon, Product Manager, Facebook India. We will have a question answer round at the end of the masterclass. So please keep your questions in the question answer box ready. We'll also have special offers for the attendees of this webinar. So stay tuned. Without further ado, we'd start off and we'd start off with a poll of questions. This poll of questions would help us understand you and your requirements for the webinar better. So here's on your screen a poll of questions. We have 2 questions for you all. Request you to fill in your opportune answers here. We're now closing the poll. Just to reiterate, we have Dev as the first speaker, and we have Nikhil Sinha, Product Marketing Manager, as the second speaker. We'll start off with Dev first. Dev, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Anisha. So I will talk about the festive insights first. We'll be spending some time on some of the insights which will help all of you to unlock business growth this festive season. I'm Dave. Thanks, Anisha, for the introduction. I'm part of the business marketing team at Facebook. I have my colleague Nikhil Sinha, who is also a part of the business marketing team. So after I covered the insights section, I will request Nikhil Sinha to talk through one of the very specific themes, which is video, which is growing very fast and could be something which is relevant for you, which will be very relevant for you for this festive season as well. So that will be agenda for over next 30 minutes, and then we will open it up for questions. With that, I'll just share my screen. Just give me a second. Is my screen up? Anisha, if you can just confirm, then I can just progress.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, thank you. So there are 3 parts to this presentation. The first part is the overall demand outlook. And we believe that this is a season of brand discovery. The second part of this presentation is about festive shoppers' digital behaviors, which is how are festive shoppers kind of spending time on digital, what are their media behaviors, which can kind of help you turn this discovery to demand. So there are a lot of interesting insights there. And the third part basically is a little bit of view on the timing from your advertising, when you look at your advertising in this festive season. So those are the 3 components which I'll cover today. To start with, on demand outlook, let me just look at the shopping habits first. So in terms of shopping habits, there are 3 things. One is Indians are trying new shopping behaviors post-COVID. Around 9 out of 10 people said that they tried a new shopping behavior. There is a massive rise in first-time online shoppers, and this is something which we are seeing across categories like, say, staples, apparel, mobile, ordering, etc. And we all have seen a massive e-commerce growth in the post-COVID world. But what's interesting to see is that this e-commerce growth is not a one-off trend. It is a permanent trend. And that is something which we see that when BCG did a survey in April, they saw that the number of people who were adopting e-commerce is 1.2x to the number of people who are adopting e-commerce in the pre-COVID world. So that kind of indicates that there is a permanence in trend on e-commerce adoption. The second thing is digital emerging as the single largest influence. I mean, this is fairly intuitive, but again, data kind of reconfirms this, that across categories, the influence of digital has gone up significantly in the post-COVID world. And the second component of this outlook is the change in spending habits. So we looked at change in shopping habits. Now, when we look at change in spending habits, when there was a second wave, it had a significant impact on consumers' willingness to spend. So there was a bit of caution towards spending. But even at that time, some of the categories like daily essentials, health and wellness, they were strong. And these categories continue to be strong as we get into the festive season as well. But off late, we have been seeing a lot of green shoots. So FMCG sales went up in June versus May. Consumer electronics sales went up in June versus May. Myntra end of region sale, which is the first large event which went live after the second wave, saw a significant growth. So as we get into the festive season, there is a lot of optimism, and I think that's great. So therefore, just to summarize this section on demand outlook, there are two components to it, right? The first component is change in shopping habits, where we are seeing that digital has got a significant influence. The online shopping increase is a permanent trend. I'll switch off my video because there is a bandwidth issue, but I'll continue to talk. And the second part is change in spending habits, which is where we are seeing that during the second wave, while there was a bit of a caution towards spending, we are seeing a lot of positive trends as we get into the festive season. So with this, the kind of takeaway which I would want you to leave you with is, one, digital influence has gone up. So it's important to leverage digital. There are a lot of positive indicators as we get into the festive season. So there'll be a lot of clutter. So you need to ensure that your brand gets discovered by consumers and be out there. So therefore, driving discovery through digital has never been more important. So that's the fundamental takeaway from the segment on demand outlook. As I move forward on festive shoppers' digital behaviors, here you will see some of the insights which will help you turn the discovery to demand. And there are 5 insights which I will talk through. The first insight is that Indians discover their loved products on Facebook, and it's very important. And I'll just spend a little bit of time on this one because discovery is, as a concept, is a little interesting, and it's not something which is easily understood as well. Discovery fundamentally is what consumers find on their feed based on their interests. So consumer is not going to search actively. Consumer is not making any effort, but he or she just finds the product based on his or her interests. And that discovery will inspire that consumer to take an action and then make a purchase. So therefore, discovery is a fairly interesting consumer trend, which will play a significant role during the festive season. And Indians discover their love products and brands on Facebook. So that's number one. And now to turn this discovery to demand, there are fairly interesting insights which marketers can tap and grow business. So one is the rise of social video. People are craving for connections with each other and with businesses. And there is a massive rise in consumption of video on Facebook. And that's what my colleague, Nikhil Sinha, will talk about after I cover the festive insights. The third one is the need for friendly advice. We all look for advices during festive season because there is a massive clutter in terms of the product availability. There are many choices. So how can we make the right choice? I mean, while we discover products based on our interest, we also look for advisors from people whom we rely on, like say influencers. So influencer recommendations play a significant role. Growth of immersive experiences. I mean, now this plays a significant role in inspiring consumers to make a purchase decision. That's number 4. And number 5 is the heightened expectation of seamless purchase experiences, which is consumers do expect that their entire purchase process has to be as frictionless as possible. So some insights here. 83% of the consumers who discover new brands typically discover on Facebook. 1 out of 3 people watch video on Facebook to connect with brands. 6 out of 10 festive shoppers find information online, and 8 out of 10 shoppers messaged a business for festive shopping during last year. So I think these are some of the key insights which corroborate these themes. And if there is one chart from insights perspective which you want to take away from this session, this is the chart, because this chart broadly captures the key themes, and this chart captures the key insights as well. And I'll just get it a little deeper into each of these themes. First thing is Facebook being the home for personalized discovery. And across all researches, what we have seen is festive season is all about togetherness, of course, and Facebook and Instagram is where people go to connect. So broadly, the themes which people were kind of resonating the most with was that Facebook and Instagram will help them keep up with friends and family. Facebook and Instagram is where they experience everyday moments together. Facebook and Instagram help build community, and also Facebook and IG is where they experience big moments together, which is moments like festive season. So that's one. Number two, what's even more important is Facebook provides a personalized environment. As I said, festive season is where there'll be a lot of clutter. It's important for brands to break the clutter, and therefore personalization plays a significant role. And Facebook is where a lot of personalization happens. That's again an interesting insight. And if you see art studies with GfK kind of confirm that Facebook is a leading platform when it comes to discovery. Around 83% of them said that they discover new brands or products on Facebook platform. And this behavior of discovery is something which Facebook owns, and it is much higher as compared to other platforms. And what's even more interesting is that most of these discoveries led to purchases. Of the online shoppers who use Facebook platforms weekly, 96% of them said that they ultimately purchased the fashion, beauty, furniture, or consumer electronic product that they discovered on the platform. So it's not just they are discovering and not taking any action, because this discovery is so personalized and based on my interests and my behaviors. This discovery converts into a purchase. So that's interesting for you to note. And this is something which you've seen across categories, right? So I will not get into the data points, but across e-commerce, tech, telco, entertainment, food and beverage, travel, CPG, we have seen Facebook family of apps being the lead platform for driving discovery. And this influence of Facebook and Instagram on festive shopping has only increased. So in 2019, the data points just show that the very influential and somewhat influential segment is around 75% on Instagram, whereas it went to 79% in 2020. Similarly, the numbers on Facebook are there. Fundamentally, the point to note is that the influence of Facebook and IG on festive shopping has only gotten stronger and stronger. What's something, I mean, what is also interesting, which we observed in the recent times, is consumers agree that they pay attention to prices, and this was much more prevalent during the May-June time. And as we get into the festive season, this consciousness towards prices and discounts will continue to be there. And therefore, 2 out of 3 consumers say that they discover discounts on Facebook family of apps. So when you look at your promotions, when you look at your deals, it's important to get your deals discovered on Facebook family of apps, because that's where consumers are actively discovering the deals and discounts. So therefore, fundamentally, what I wanted to leave with from this section is leverage the Facebook family of apps to enable personalized discovery. There are a lot of tools like Pixel, SDKs, Conversions API, and also a lot of automation and liquidity tools, which will help you get discovered. I will not get into solutions, but I would want you to leave with this insight that consumers discover products and brands on Facebook family of apps. Now, number 2, before going into the second theme, I think there are some of the interesting case studies. Cadbury Bone will improve purchase intent with personalized ads. They personalized based on 5 personas of consumers, like people interested in fitness, music, movie, shopping, and travel, and they have seen increase in brand metrics. And Clean and Clear similarly enabled brand discovery among a specific cohort, which is teens, by leveraging Instagram, and they have seen an improvement in ad recall and message association. So based on consumer cohorts, based on their personas, you can personalize your ads and then see an improvement in brand recall. These are some of the interesting case studies. Now the next part, this one I will just touch upon very briefly because my colleague will cover the segment in more details. Fundamentally, people are saying that they watch videos on Facebook and Instagram significantly, with around 88% of them saying that they watch videos at least once a week, and 94% of them said that when they watch a publisher video, they share it. So there is a lot of kind of viewership on Facebook videos, and there are many need states why people watch videos. I'll just touch upon one need state, which is connection with brands. So people look Facebook videos because it'll help them to connect with brands, and that's very important. I mean, as you're building your brand, it's important for you to build deeper connections with consumers, and that's what Facebook videos can enable. And when you develop video content, what are the themes for you to think through? And during festive season, consumers are looking at different need states, like, hey, I want the content to be informative, I want the content to be real and authentic, I want the content to be fun and entertaining, and videos which are authentic are the ones which also drive higher ad completion. So therefore, I think that's something as a food for thought for you as you develop your video content on Facebook family of apps. So that's segment 2, which is people are creating connections with brands, and Facebook videos can build that connection with brands. And there are a lot of solutions like InStream, InStream Reserve, Facebook and Instagram Live, Stories ads, which are many of the video formats which are available on Facebook, which can help you build a deeper connection between brands and consumers. Case studies again, Savlon, InStream saw brand impact. Ashirwad Atta drove brand salience. HDFC drove brand impact as well as bottom funnel metrics. Safely. The third theme is about the need for friendly advice, where festive shoppers are saying that they seek shopping recommendations from influencers. Interesting insights here again. The influencers play a vital role in discovery and purchase process. Around 27% of them said that celebrities will help them discover new products and services. 34% of them said that influencers will help them discover new products and services. So at a net, at the creator level, be it a celebrity or influencer, 50% of them said that they discover new products and influencers through creators. And around 45% of them said that creators help them decide whether they should buy a product or service. So the role of creators in influencing the purchase decision, therefore, is quite significant. And if you're looking at any influencer partnerships, I think this is a great time for you to do that, because that will help you drive discovery of your products and brands. The next one is influencer videos are very useful for festive shoppers. So across different categories, you've seen influencer videos playing a role in driving the purchase decisions of consumers. And festive shoppers also said that they discover best deals through the live sessions of influencers. Around 43% of them said that they discovered best deals through the Facebook live sessions of influencers. Around 37% of them said that they discover best deals through Instagram live sessions of influencers. So I think that is also something which is very interesting. So if you're looking at making it more engaging, making it more interactive, showcasing your products, showcasing your deals, etc., doing it through influencers on BIG Live is an interesting format for you to consider. And IG, of course, is the most important impactful channel for influencer marketing. This is intuitive, but again, a lot of studies corroborate that as IG as a lead platform for influencer marketing. So branded content ads is a solution. You can read through this solution even more. We can ship this deck to you, and these links will help you learn more about these solutions. But that's something for you to consider when you look at an influence, when you look at scaling up your influencer marketing program. A lot of case studies here. Spotify drove playlist adoption by partnering with creators. They've seen a lot of brand impact as well. Swiggy Genie built awareness of the product through influencers on Instagram. They've seen a strong brand impact as well. Red Label evoked brand love for a campaign leveraging creators, and they've seen a strong ad recall and message recall as well. Again, it's interesting to know that from traditional brands to consumer tech platforms, you see influencers playing an interesting role in driving brand impact among consumers. So I'll move forward. The fourth theme is about immersive experiences. Immersive experiences were once a novelty, but now they evolved into a utility for festive shoppers. And these virtual experiences bring products closer to consumers. And we have seen this trend across categories like clothes, health and beauty, cars, and mobile phones. The audience here are e-commerce centric, so mobile phones, clothes and accessories, health and beauty are the ones which are relevant for you. So I mean, you all must have heard about the growing trend on augmented reality and how consumers are trying products right from home and making purchase decisions. So that's something which is a significant trend, and therefore we have seen 169% year-on-year growth of membership in Facebook groups related to AR VR, so which is fairly significant. And consumers also feel that AR can help bridge gap between online and offline. AR can create a fun way to interact between consumers and brands, and consumers are also open to brand-led features in AR. So augmented reality is a great opportunity to create a new path to consumer engagement and conversion. So you can learn more about AR ads, some of the more interesting formats like live, etc. And even Reels is something new, so you can learn more about Reels as well to create immersive brand experiences. Case studies here, case studies across smartphones, across the telecom organizations who have leveraged AR to drive more engagement and brand impact. So Vivo launched and unboxed a new phone through AR. OnePlus launched a new phone through AR. Vodafone Idea created buzz around new campaign through AR. So I will not play these ads, but I just want to kind of give a layout of some of the case studies. The fifth theme and the last theme is all about expectation of a seamless purchase experience. Again, this is intuitive. We are all short of time. Any friction in path to purchase will lead to consumers dropping off. So the ecosystem needs to be as seamless as possible. And interestingly, we have seen that around 70% of the consumers surveyed in India who experience difficulty navigating a site or app have abandoned a purchase as a result. So reducing friction is something which is very critical to move consumers from discovery to purchase. And one of the tools which will help simplify the purchase process and reduce friction is the conversational commerce, right? By having direct conversations with businesses, consumers can feel that their purchase process is more seamless. They can ask direct questions. The process becomes more smoother, and therefore that will lead to more conversions. And we have seen an unabated growth in adoption of commerce, conversational commerce in the post-COVID world. And what's also interesting is that 8 out of 10 Diwali shoppers message the business when shopping, and therefore you can see that people are messaging for different use cases like tracking orders, product purchases, product details, shipping details, feedback, and so on and so forth. So therefore, messaging is on a rise, and it is an important trend to tap into during festive season. And beyond that, there are a lot of solutions to help you simplify the user experience, like dynamic ads for targeting, dynamic ads for retargeting, dynamic ads for broad audiences. A lot of messaging solutions. You can read about them. And there are a lot of case studies as well. So from a tech company to a traditional company to a beauty company to an e-commerce platform, how a lot of players have used messaging solutions, a lot of solutions like collab ads to simplify the user experience, dynamic ads again to just make it very simple in terms of consumer purchase experience, and click to WhatsApp to connect with consumers, address their questions, and simplify the purchase process. So these are the possibilities, and because of usage of these products, we have seen businesses driving business growth, doing it at very efficient costs, getting new customers on board, and also driving incremental revenue as well. The last one, of course, I think we are now in the peak of the season. We need not talk about this. This is intuitive. Businesses need to start as early as possible to get into the minds of consumers, get into their consideration set, and eventually drive sales. And some data points just reconfirm this, that around 1/3 of them said that they start their purchases in September, and 2/3 of them eventually purchase in October. So predominantly the shopping happens in September, October. We're already in the mid-season. So just kind of, if you have not started, it's something that you need to consider and start planning immediately. So we've got I mean, Indian festive season is fairly unique. There are many festivals. So we are in the mid-season. So continue to do your activations and do it till end of the year, because our festive shopping just doesn't end at Diwali. The shopping even continues to end of this year, new year, and so on and so forth. So leverage the wide shopping occasions which are there in India, and kind of be active and get discovered and drive your sales. So that's what I wanted to cover today. Thank you. So fundamentally, what I just kind of spoke through is the importance of driving discovery on Facebook Family of Apps and leveraging a lot of themes to turn this discovery to demand, like video, influencers, augmented reality, and messaging solutions. So those are the insights which I wanted to cover. We can talk about questions later. With that, I'll hand it over to Nikhil, who will just double click on one of the things which I spoke about, which is video. Over to you, Nikhil.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Thank you so much. Just checking if my slides are visible, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Hi, everyone. My name is Nikhil Sinha. I am as well part of the business marketing team at Facebook, colleagues with Dave. Just going to take the next 15-16 minutes to talk through and establish through a couple of insights how Facebook is a formidable video destination, and you can leverage Facebook to connect people with your brands. The flow for today is threefold. I'm going to talk about a broad perspective of how digital video is the new mainstream. I'm then going into establish how Facebook plays a key role to establish itself as a new mainstream within digital video ecosystem. And then lastly, how Facebook is the new way to build brands with video, and talk you through solutions and a couple of in-stream successes and spotlight in-stream as a product to build your brands with video. So digital video is the new mainstream, right? For this section, I'm going to talk about a few insights for people's behavior, both on and off Facebook when it comes to video consumption. Starting with a no-brainer, mobile dominates the video viewing landscape, right? Especially between 18 to 34-year-old young audiences. Almost all of them use mobile to watch video, right? The key takeaway here, while mobile is the way forward, TV remains relevant. However, its use has waned over the years when you compare it to this particular age group mobile viewing behavior of video. Coming to a little deeper into video consumption, with the context of the pandemic more recently, over the past year that we've had, we see that online video consumption has gone up drastically. Average viewing before April 2020 was 1 hour a day, which has now increased fourfold to 4 hours a day. Right? That's a massive jump in the context of the times we live in today. What's also interesting is that viewers who surveyed this and have increased their video consumption to 4 hours a day plan to stick to this viewing behavior with a 75% stickiness. So this is here to stay. Diving a little deeper into video viewing behavior, if we were to look at a specific youth audiences, let's say 18 to 34-year-olds, why I want to highlight this is because 18 to 34-year-olds are a chunk of the Indian population. 40% of Gen Z that was surveyed in this survey said that they don't use TV and don't access TV to watch cable or broadcast TV. So it's all online video for them. What's also interesting is that 18 to 34-year-olds are 1.5x more likely to interact with brand video on an online platform than their counterparts of 55 to 64-year-olds. And our platform, coming to our platform's video viewing behavior has also increased drastically, and Facebook plays a pivotal role as part of this boost in video viewing behavior. 3.3 billion people have used at least one of our services in December 2020. 50% of all internet users surveyed say they watch videos on the Facebook app daily. That's a really significant number globally. When we speak about India as a country, this number is even higher at 75% who watch videos daily on the Facebook app. Lastly, 1.25 billion people globally visit, watch, and watch Facebook video on our Surface Watch, which is the surface where in-stream ads rest. Now that I've landed that digital video is the new mainstream, I want to talk about what role Facebook per se plays and how Facebook has dramatically driven this increase in video over the past year or so. And for this section, we're going to look at consumer need states and the roles that brands can play. I want you to take a step back and I want you to explain why people watch so much video on our platforms. 4 key need states emerge here. To be entertained is one, to escape is the other, to be informed, and to connect, which is the most important, is the last one. We saw the brand connection slide as well when Dave was talking about video, but I just wanted to highlight with this slide that Facebook is the leading video service when it comes to brand connections for video. So if we look at the 4 graphs here, you have your need states at the x-axis, and you have why do people want to connect with brands on each platform on the y-axis. And we see that Facebook is a leader here in 3 out of the 4 need states. And these are the top need states why people are watching video in India. What's also interesting is that Facebook is 24% ahead of YouTube and 41% ahead of Snapchat when it comes to brand connections with Facebook. So brand connections are something that a brand is always looking to do so with its audience and consumers, and Facebook leads majority of the need states as to why people watch video to connect with brands. I just wanted to validate that previous slide with a couple of more insights and data points, right? Why is Facebook the leader in forming brand connections in video? Because brand ad experiences are positive on Facebook, right? 3 out of 4 people who watch videos on Facebook say they don't mind or they enjoy watching ads. This is a big differentiator when it comes to the video viewing ecosystem, because no consumer, no matter who he or she is, likes to watch ads, right? Another key takeaway on this slide is that when we look at the bars, when we look at the statistics where people enjoy or don't mind watching ads, Facebook Watch, which is the last bar, is at its high, is at the highest. It's at 76%. So Watch is a key surface where people are not only watching videos, they're interacting with brand videos, and they don't mind doing so. Facebook is also the #1 place for consumers to discover and build relationships with brands, right? Facebook as a platform differentiates itself with other competitors because here a consumer can not only like, watch, and share videos, right? It's about discovering brands. It's about, and they've hinted about this discovery very slightly. It's also about reaching out to brands one-on-one and building a relationship with brands. This social nature of our family of apps leads us as a leader across discovery and building relationships when it comes to video vis-a-vis all competition. And all of these insights then land to positive brand connections, which eventually lead to the highest ROI being delivered for Facebook as compared to other video and non-video competitions as well. So the most bang for your buck when it compares to overall video scenario in India, Facebook delivers 144% more ROI than the closest competition on all ad formats. I now want to take a quick 5 minutes to take you through Facebook as the new way to build brands with video, with a spotlight on in-stream ads as the key product here to build your brands with video. But very quickly, I want to touch upon the various surfaces that we have before I get into watch and in-stream. We have various surfaces for long form video, and we have various surfaces from stories to reels for short form video. I want to now jump in a little bit into Facebook Watch. And I want to introduce Facebook Watch to you, which is a dedicated personal tab on the Facebook app. Once you click that tab, it opens a dedicated feed of video for you that is curated as per interest groups and your past viewing history. Facebook Watch has a diverse publisher and creator ecosystem that represents the diversity of tastes that our country has to offer. Be it sports, news, entertainment, or lifestyle, we have the content curated for you based on your interest groups across these sort of genres that you can enjoy on Facebook Watch. Facebook Watch is also the home of in-stream ads, right? And I just wanted to take a minute here to understand what in-stream ads on Facebook are. Facebook Watch is, like I said, a dedicated tab on Facebook where all long form video rests. In-stream ads, therefore, are the home rest on Facebook Watch. They reach long form video content anywhere on the Facebook app, not only on Watch, and they kick in 60 seconds into video viewing behavior for the audience. So essentially, it's a mid-roll. Our research indicates that this is the optimal time for an ad to kick in and the user to be most engaged for your brand and video. Just wanted to take a quick second to land the scale of Watch globally. Over 2 billion people watch in-stream eligible videos each month. This is a global number. However, just to land the scale vis-a-vis our competition here, YouTube has 2 billion plus logged in users, but Facebook already has crossed the 2 billion mark. And this is only for in-stream eligible video each month. Now brands can tell long form stories through in-stream video with improved brand metrics. 74% is the video completion rate globally for in-stream ads when a video viewing objective is selected. This is a massive number because Facebook, in order to be the number one place to connect audiences with brands, you have to get your video completion rates in order, and Facebook delivers 74% video completion rates for video viewing behavior across all video on its platform. And this comes with brand safety, right? So brand safety protocols make the Facebook ecosystem a safe place for your brands to run video ads. We have a variety of statistics that remain and keep your video brand safe, from community standards being the bare minimum to a team of both manual and auto people vetting publisher video that in-stream eligible advertising can go on, sustainability collaborations that make sure we are up to date and we remain sustainable with our brand safety, and of course, technology to scale all of this for the massive numbers that Facebook has in India and globally. I now want to take you through measurement because video is nothing without being able to deliver measurement across the funnel, from awareness to consideration to conversion. 3 brands that have got major successes with in-streams, and a couple of case study points here are Asian Paints that drove top of mind recall for one of their paint brands, Savlon that drove top of mind recall again and used in-stream for a new launch during the past year, and Marico Veggie Clean again used in-stream to deliver a 27-point ad recall lift amongst women. Again, this was for a new launch, and we'll see these studies in detail in a while. However, there's more that you can do with in-stream, right? And I just want to take you through a premium in-stream offering, and I want to introduce in-stream Reserve. In-stream Reserve gives you access to premium publisher inventory on Facebook Watch, right? It's a curated list of top tier publishers where your ads will run. In-stream Reserve essentially gives you the luxury of fixing your CPMs beforehand, right? When you are a client and you opt for in-stream Reserve, you get a white glove managed service that will report metrics to you on a weekly or a monthly basis. And of course, needless to say, you get access to the full suite of ad targeting that Facebook offers. I just want to take and highlight 3 case studies here where in-stream Reserve has seen massive success across the funnel. Upstocks took a 9.7-point ad recall lift for top mind metrics and awareness. Colgate, for its toothpaste Charcoal Clean, got 1.9-point lift in purchase intent, which was purchase intent mid-funnel metrics. And HDFC Life's got a 19% increase in its click-to-L product and direct sales, so low funnel objectives. So the key takeaway here is that in-stream Reserve delivers metrics across the funnel. Lastly, just to summarize, I want to take you through a quick 1.5 minute video that will give you a spotlight on what we just saw today. So are your brands in with InStream? And with that, I'll end the session. Over to you, Anisha.
Got it. Thank you, Nikhil. Guys, this was that was Nikhil Sinha from the business marketing team of Facebook India. Nikhil, we are definitely convinced to capitalize more on in-stream and videos for this festive season. Next up, we are opening the room for question and answer session. You can keep the questions coming in the Q&A button or beside the share screen option. Let's start off with the first question. Um, So the first question is, how can we better leverage video ads for conversion objectives and driving results? Nikhil, would you be able to take that up?
I'll invite Jayant or Sagarika to lead that.
Sorry, can you say that again? The question?
Yep. How can we better leverage video ads for conversion objectives and driving results?
Got it. Let me answer it this way. All placements and all ad formats can be used for most full funnel activities, whether that's awareness, which is your upper funnel activity, driving consideration or driving purchase. One thing that I think you all need to follow with video is the best practices that we recommend from a creative standpoint. Videos that are specifically directed towards conversions should be short, maybe 5 to 15 seconds long. Have your brand and your CTA at the start of the video rather than at the end. So here's where it might seem a little counterintuitive. Most of you folks might have seen TV ads or run ads, 30-second ads, where the conventional wisdom says that you start off a video with your story and end with a brand and end with your brand message and the impact, right? But how that's different on mobile and generally on digital is that people now have far shorter attention spans. So it's always important to put up your message and your CTA at the start of the video and then go from there, right? So that's from a creative standpoint on how you should structure your videos, and always design for sound off, by the way, because on mobile videos automatically will play with sound off unless people have switched off that particular capability. So your CTAs and your objective should very clearly be called out at the start of the video, and preferably with text, so that you can have your CTA in consumers mind right at the start of the video. That's one. Now, when it comes to ad formats, different ad formats lend themselves to different types of objectives. Some of the ad formats that Nikhil, for example, has covered, especially in stream and in stream reserve, these formats are very important for driving brand awareness and brand impact. So if you have, let's say, a story that in mind that you want to cover, you should always have in stream reserve or in stream as part of your plans. However, for, let's say, short bursts of content like stories where you have only a 5-second video and you want to just drive, where the awareness is not a problem and you want to drive consideration and purchase, use shorter formats, where shorter, more engaging formats like stories, like reels, to drive those conversion events, right? uh, Video formats also work with all conversion CTAs. So you can have your shop now buttons at the end of your videos, whether that's on stories or whether that's on reels. So in fact, we're always working on the UX for those buttons as well. And some of you might have noticed slight improvements in how we are displaying the shop now buttons on Instagram, both in reels and stories across videos. I have seen that, for example. So don't worry about thinking that videos might not be the right method for conversion. In fact, more often than not, we have seen that videos tend to drive higher conversion rates than static images in most cases. So it's a format that lends itself to each and every step of your full funnel activity. Does that help?
Got it. Thanks, Jayant. Sagrika, do you want to add on?
No, I just answered a question, I think, which was asked by Pallavi as well. I think she was talking about that she has just launched a new brand and will, ISR help in any way. So, yeah, like Jen pointed out, the entire marketing journey starts from awareness, and video being one of the key elements of, awareness and consideration. And with all the surfaces which Nikhil also pointed out and Jen talked about, I think optimizing towards the right metrics or to the right conversion objectives becomes very important, and I'm sure like the AdYogi team will be able to guide you more on that.
Yeah. Just like to add to that, specifically about ISR, since somebody talked about launching a new brand, right? In-stream reserve, as Nikhil mentioned, is a curated list of inventory where you lock in your CPM. And this inventory runs on some of our most popular and most high quality publishers, right? So if you are launching a brand, in-stream reserve and in-stream both are very, very important for brand impact, and they should definitely be a part of your plan. So in stream reserve, use that to create an overall awareness of your campaign. And then you can cut the same video that you use for in stream reserve, whether that's a 15 or 30-second video, cut that into smaller snippets for a 5-second video, which you can run on reels or you can run on stories. So you can still use the same content that you have created, modify it for different surfaces, and then use that. But you should definitely start with in-stream for high brand impact in case you're launching a brand.
Got it. The next question is, we have witnessed the impetus shifting from offline to online channels during COVID-led lockdown and have started out with influencer marketing. And one of the pertinent questions which they have is how can they reach out to right influencer, and the point to keep in mind when planning branded content ads.
I
Sagrika,
can
would you want to
take
take
that up.
that?
Yeah, I'll do that. So yeah, like rightly pointed out that we have also seen a lot of impetus shifting towards online during the COVID-led lockdown, and brand building through creators has actually started gaining a lot of steam during this time also. And then obviously the next question here is that how do you actually find the right creator for your brand? Uh, so some I'll just talk about some key aspects which we share as recommendation to some of the brands, that we need to ensure that the influencer is credible and it actually matches with the business needs and represents the business which you want to showcase to your customers. And I will just quickly talk about some of the key pointers here. So the first one would be expertise. So whenever we are looking at zeroing in on an influencer, there should be, they should be the subject matter experts. efforts, preferably, or there should be some connection there to the brand image. In terms of voice, the community you're trying to reach out through the voice of the creator, that should be relevant to your brand. That goes without saying. And also coming to the creative ability of the creator here, that they should be able to create content which matches your needs, etc. And they should also be able to kind of leverage some of the key cultural relevance or key moment marketing aspects which are going on during that time, and then create conversations around it, so that you also see some traction from those conversations. So these are some of the common considerations there. Having covered all of this, there are some registered partners also with Facebook, which can help you discover, manage, and run your branded content with creators. You can reach out to your AdYogi representatives, happy to set up that connect with some of our registered partners who work with influencer marketing at our end.
Awesome. Thanks, Sagrika. The next question is it worth doing click to messenger ads given messenger isn't as popular in India as WhatsApp is?
I can take that
Jayant.
up. Yep, great.
Yes.
So first of all, great question, and one that we asked a lot. We get asked a lot. It's true that WhatsApp is the most popular messaging platform in India, and Messenger, while still quite big, isn't comparable to WhatsApp. However, the API functionality on Messenger is really powerful. You can not only, for example, generate leads, but also qualify those leads with conditional questions. Something that's, while it is still being developed on WhatsApp, and you can always leverage third-party tools to generate, let's say, WhatsApp chatbots, the functionality and the seamless connection with Facebook is much more powerful in Messenger because it's not an end-to-end encryption platform, right? So a lot of your data that you collect on Messenger can be directly fed into your ongoing Facebook campaigns and your ongoing Facebook audiences. It's also very easy to share your product catalog with users in responses to their questions on Messenger. And our developer community around Messenger is really, really active. So the kind of tools and the kind of functionality that you get on Messenger is something that's not available on WhatsApp, just by the virtue of WhatsApp being an end-to-end encrypted service, right? So there's a lot of data that you can't directly pull out of WhatsApp and feed into either your CRMs or Facebook's own tools as well. That's one. The other thing is that earlier we used to limit click to messenger ads to only folks who had the messenger app on their phone, right? We don't do that anymore. So what happens is, they are still prioritized to, let's say, people who have messenger app on their phone, messenger ads are also available to people who don't have that app on the phone, and it usually opens up in a native page within the Facebook app, or within, if you're using Facebook on a mobile browser, it'll just open up within a native messenger chat window within that page itself. So you don't have to worry about messenger not being there on somebody's phone. And this is something that's not for you to worry about on desktop ads at all, because Messenger by default is available for anybody who's running a desktop ad, right? So you don't have to have Messenger installed on desktop as such. So I hope that answers your question. I think it is still very worth doing that. You'll also see a lot of case studies around click to messenger ads on the Facebook's success stories pages. So please do check it out. There are companies like Flipkart, like AU Bank, for example. So a lot of banking folks definitely use that to, generate leads and qualify them. Similarly, e-commerce guys used to share their products. People can just, ask questions, and messenger bots, which are very, very powerful compared to, let's say, what you have currently on WhatsApp, can easily pull up your product feed and directly share products with consumers, and they can finish their purchases within the messenger ecosystem itself as well. So while I understand the apprehension that messenger is not as popular in India as WhatsApp, I think it's still worth it to try those ads. uh, Obviously it will depend on advertiser to advertiser on the success of those ads and how well you're able to leverage it, and also how well you have actually connected the messenger API or use the chatbot in the messenger ecosystem. But it's still something that you should give a try and don't shy away from.
Thanks, Jen. That answers the question. There's one more question before we end this. Ran Singh asks, we are a new brand selling pre-loved books online. Our CPM is so high that we do not have enough budgets to cover the larger audience. What can we do?
Sorry, say that again.
Yep. We are a new brand selling pre-loved books online. Our CPM is so high that we do not have enough budgets to cover the larger audience. What can we do?
So this is CPM questions are always difficult to answer, and there's no one size fits all story for this, right? So one thing that a lot of you will notice that during festive season, for example, CPMs generally do tend to go high because a lot of advertisers are going after consumers. And this might seem counterintuitive, but if once you do festive campaigns, you'll also realize that your ROAS will also eventually go high, because it's not just that more advertisers are going after consumers, those consumers also have a higher propensity to purchase products during festive season. We all are such consumers. We ramp up our purchasing during festive season. I'm sure a lot of the people on in the audience today would agree with me on that, right? So we also generally tend to see that our conversion rates tend to go high as well. Uh, that's one part of it. So you don't need to be concerned just about your CPMs. I think what you need to look at is your end goal. And if your end goal is revenue over ad spend, that is what you need to control. Your CPMs can go high, doesn't matter, as long as your ROS is in place and it's something that's controllable. So that's the metric that you're looking that you should be looking at. That's one thing that I can't stress enough upon. A lot of times people come to us and say that our CPMs are really high, but that shouldn't really matter, right? Eventually what should matter is that your revenue that you're creating for the ad spend that you're spending is high. That's one. The second is CPMs. A lot of times what we have seen is they get affected by your account and campaign structure as well. You need to follow all the best practices that we have for advertisers on the ads manager. For example, in most cases where we see CPMs are high, we also see that advertisers spend more than 70% of their budgets in learning phase, which is they structure their campaigns in such a way they have too many ad sets, too many ads, spending a very little amount of budget, right? What that does is that not enough ads and not enough ad sets have time or the money to actually learn. And as long as they're in learning phase, you can expect their CPMs and CPAs to be at least 20-30% higher than normal. So please look at your account structure. Please look at your campaign structure. Consolidate it wherever possible. Run the minimum number of campaigns and ad sets that you can, and ensure that you're not overlapping your ad sets and campaigns. Because what happens is when you're overlapping your audience, in most cases, you are fighting against yourself and driving up your own CPMs. So these are two things that I would say. Choose different metrics to look at. And I'm not just saying it because CPM doesn't look good. But also look at your account structure and campaign structure and structure for scale, so that you can eventually scale up slowly, but while maintaining your ROS and CPMs. So that's my answer.
Got it. Thanks, Jayant. That definitely answers a question. With that, we've come to an end of the festive masterclass. As promised, on your screens right now, we'll present festive offer for all the attendees. We have flat 15% off on AdYogi for enterprises clients. We have flat 50% off on AdYogi for startups. To well more, you can connect with us on our Instagram and LinkedIn handles. Apart from that, before we say goodbye, a quick plug-in. We have another session with Nitin Garg, Google India team, on the 7th. Please plan to join. Please plan to register. Uh, with that, we have come to an end. A vote of thanks to all the esteemed speakers over here. Nikhil, thank you. Thank you, Dev. Thank you, Sagrika. Thank you, Jayant. It was a really good session. With that, we have come to an end. Thank you and good day to you, everyone.
Great. Thank you, Anisha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Team
Thank you.
AdYogi.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Anisha.
Thank
Anisha.
you, Anisha.
Thank you.